Grime Gorys. Hi everyone, my name is Stephen, and my story starts with a camping trip I took part in with a friend. I won't give you his name. He doesn't want me to tell you, so I'll call him Jack. My dad bought me a new car for my graduation. I passed my driving test 6 months ago, but graduated 3 weeks ago. So it all came to me in one big package, my graduation and my car. Anyway, I messaged my friend Jack to tell him the good news. The phone crackled, then came Jack's voice. Hey Stephen, do you know what time it is? It's 7 a.m. Is everything okay? Is something wrong? No, I replied. There's nothing wrong, nothing at all. Everything's good here. I know it's early, Jack, sorry. But I have good news. Well, come on, spit it out. What is it? I have my new car, man. It's really awesome. I'll drive it to your place later and pick you up, okay? Yeah, sure, Jack replied. Give me a couple of hours to wake up, grab a coffee, and I'll get dressed, okay? Sure thing. See you soon, bye. I arrived at Jack's house, parked the car in his parents' driveway, and happily walked to the front door and pressed the doorbell. The door opened and Jack's mum was standing there. Hi Stephen, how are you? Hi, I replied. I'm good, thank you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on in. Make yourself at home. I'll give Jack a shout. Tell him you're here, okay? Sure thing. Thank you, ma'am. Do you want a drink or something, honey? No, thank you. I'm fine. Thank you anyway. Well, as long as you're sure. Anyway, she replied, with a smile, as she turned to face me, with a warm glow in her face. Hey Stephen, you're already here, that's great. Did you bring her with you? He laughed, pleasingly. Yes I did, she's parked on your driveway, with a smile all over her face, and here's the keys. Can I drive her please, just this one time? No friggin' way, she's mine and mine only, but you can have shotgun as a priority, if you want, and you can have the window all the way down too. Great, Jack said. Let's go. Where are we going, by the way? We're going where me and you used to go as kids with our parents, remember? You mean Camp Holloway? That's the one, I jokingly replied, laughing a little. Have you got all your gear packed and ready to go, Jack? Sure, I've put it in the car already. Okay, good, I replied. Let's go. I'm riding shotgun, he annoyingly said. Yeah, right, I smiled, and off we went on our journey to Holloway Camp. It seemed we were driving for hours, but it had only been 3 hours at the most. Our journey would come to an end very soon. We were only an hour or so away now, so we stopped at a garage and got some fuel and some snacks for on the way, and for when we both got there. It was hot inside the car, so I opened my side window and hung out my arm and grabbed the fresh air breeze as it passed us by. I got Jack to open a can of Coca-Cola for me and took a long cold sip. The signs were coming up alongside the road, which meant we're almost there. The gates were already open when they shouldn't have been. They should have been closed, and there was no security either. It was quiet and unnerving at the same time. There should be lots of people here already. Children screeching and shouting, dogs barking and swaying. But there's nobody. Not even a whisper. Or any kind of wildlife. No birds, nothing. It's not the same as it used to be years ago. It's dead. I mean, what's going on, Jack? Frantically replied. I don't know, I said. Let's go see. Let's find a cabin, unpack our stuff, and then have a look around. See if we can find anything or anyone. At least someone, perhaps. Suddenly I could hear a vibrational humming sound coming from outside the cabin. So I went outside to have a look. As I looked up into the sky, I saw this raging bright white light. I had to cover my face from it. It was glowing, bright glare. At one point, my eyes began to hurt and become very painful. Jack came running outside to see what was going on and why I was taking so long to come back inside. He too held his arms over his face because of the bright light. God, Jack, what is it? Well, we can safely say it's not God, that's for sure. Then what the hell is it? He replied. I think it's a UFO. A what? I said a UFO. You mean an alien craft? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. What's it doing so low to the ground? I don't know, I said. Perhaps it's come back for something it's forgot. The last time it was home, it was here, maybe. Let's get out of here, said Jack. Let's go. I don't really want to hang around any longer out here. You're right, I replied. Let's go back inside. Come on, let's go. We both ran inside the cabin and locked the door behind us both. What the hell was that all about? UFOs, green men and all that crap. I think that's why nobody's here. They all ran off or went home. I don't think so, I replied. Then what then? Come on. I don't think they ever left. I think they were taken. I mean, their stuff's still here, and so are their cars, everything. What do you mean? Said Jack. What I mean is, the people that were here, that's everyone, everybody. That bright light or UFO, whatever you want to call it, took them, every single one of them. What do you think they want with us? Do you think they're going to take us too? I don't know, but that's probably why they came back. I don't know exactly, but it's looking like that. We have to go find somewhere safe before it comes back. Come on, grab your stuff, let's go. Where are we going to go, Stephen? I don't know. I really don't know yet, I replied. I was almost at the point of being angry, trying not to lose it. He was afraid just as much as I was. Jack, do you remember that lake with a cave on top of it? Remember? We both used to jump off it into the lake below. Yes, sure, I remember. What of it? That's where we're heading for, right now. That's our safe haven, okay? Okay, good, great. Great idea. Let's go. Let's go there now. Come on. Let's run. The trees were thick, and so were the bushes between and around them. The grass was long and bladed. But Jack and I didn't have time to stop and take in the beautiful scenery of our uncharted surroundings. So we just kept on walking in a zig-zag walk, and then a straight pathway towards the lake. When we arrived at the place, we had to climb some rocks to get to the top where the cave was. Once we both got there, we walked in the cave, dropped our gear halfway inside, and sat down to rest for at least a few moments or so, to gather our thoughts. "Are you okay?" Jack asked. I replied with a weary voice, with tired eyes, "Yes, I'm fine. Nothing like a good sleep wouldn't go away. I wouldn't do any harm either right now." "Are you okay, Jack?" "I'm good," he replied. "Just great, really." "So what do we do from here? Sit and wait?" "I don't know," I replied. "It's getting dark soon. Let's rest and get our strength back. Have breakfast and see what the day brings when the sun rises, okay? Let's get some rest. I'll build a fire to keep us warm tonight, okay? There's plenty of dry wood here. Can I please use your matches, Jack?" "Yeah, sure. Here you go, catch. Thanks." I stacked the dry wood together tightly and lit it underneath. It started burning beautifully, so I gathered more dry wood to keep the fire going, at least until early hours of the morning. Suddenly I heard that humming noise again. This time there was no bright light, like the last time we both encountered it. But I could see 3 white light orbs moving across the lower cloud line, very slowly, like they were observing the area in every detail. Suddenly they changed their formation. The view, with all honesty, was spectacular to watch, but I knew deep down that the lights were looking for us. I turned around to see if Jack was still awake, but he was fast asleep. But I stayed awake all night, so that I knew we were both going to be safe. Suddenly the sky was overwhelmed by bright lights again. Jack screamed. That moment the light disappeared as quickly as it came. But when my eyes had adjusted to the darkness and warm fire and fresh air again, Jack had gone. He'd been taken by the light, and I know they would be coming back for me soon, so I had to get ready. I cooked some tinned food, sausages and soup, and a couple of slices of bread, and of course a cup of coffee. Oh, yes, and a beer or 2, or maybe 3. I had no intentions of sleeping much tonight, just a couple of hours at the least anyway. Thoughts were running through my mind like racehorses, that the only way to get Jack back was to let them take me. Stupid, I know, but he's my best friend, and I know he would do the same for me too, without a second thought. The food was great. It tasted real good. At least I wouldn't starve, right? Laugh out loud. But jokes aside, I had to be ready. I had a better chance to get through the night with a couple of hours of sleep before dark. No sooner had I closed my eyes, my phone alarm went off, only so I wouldn't oversleep all the way through to the morning. I could see the bright light in the far distance. I won't kid you, I was terrified. I was shaking violently, but I kept myself focused, ready for the moment to come. And it will soon. I know that deep down in my heart. I couldn't stop thinking about Jack and what his parents would go through when I arrived home on my own, or whether they would believe my story. I had to get him back, no matter how impossible it is. I at least have to try. Suddenly the lights got closer and brighter. It was blinding. I had to put my arms yet again, and my hands, over my eyes and face. Suddenly I felt a vibrational kind of feeling going all the way through my body, and the air brushing past my face and hands. I couldn't move, even an inch. I was paralysed from head to toe, but I could still feel its rushing past me. I knew at that moment they had taken me, and there was nothing I could do about it, even if I tried, which I couldn't. I couldn't move at all, could I? The light quickly disappeared, and all I could see was inside the ship or craft, whatever it was. "Where's my friend?" I asked. They just looked at me and stared deeply into my eyes. I was again absolutely terrified, to the point where I almost filled my trousers. The beings drew closer to me. I still couldn't move, but I'm sure I could see Jack in my peripheral vision. "Jack, Jack, it's me, Stephen. Are you okay?" He replied in a weary, shaky, vulnerable voice, "I'm fine. I'm okay. And not to worry." "Great," I said. "I'm glad you're okay. What do they want with us?" I asked. "I don't know," Jack said. "But it looks like they mean us both no harm. I'm hoping they let us go after they are done with us." "So do I," Jack said. "So do I." Suddenly a voice entered my head. It said, "Don't worry. We're not going to harm you, either of you, in any way or form. We just need to take samples from you, and then we will let you go, I promise." The words were gentle and comforting. I know it came from one of the beings because of its bodily gestures it was making, moving towards me and Jack. "You and your friend are two very special individuals of your Earth. Your DNA is the future of mankind. Plus, you and your friend are not of this world. That's why you are both here, as is everyone else we have taken. But they are safely back at the camp. They will remember nothing, as will you. You and they are the future, and when the time comes, you will know. Then, and only then, you will all leave this dying planet and return back to your original origins, with full memory of where you're from. Suddenly, a blur came over me. Then I fell into complete, utter darkness once again. And as I awoke, I was back at the cave, near the lake. I quickly looked over my shoulder and saw that Jack was there too, thank God. They said I would forget, but I remember everything, every detail. Jack couldn't remember a thing, only that he remembers seeing a bright light. He put it down as a bad dream, and so I left it at that. As Jack and I both packed our things and headed back to camp, we could hear voices and laughter and dogs barking. It was an amazing feeling to hear people and their pets and children having so much fun. They were acting like nothing had really happened, but it had. I seemed to be the only one who remembers everything in every detail. But what does that mean? Am I the true leader of a world I don't remember, that would eventually take them there? Take them home, perhaps? I reached into my pocket and took whatever it was out, and there, in my hand, glowing, was the most beautiful thing, a glowing orb with a solar system in the middle. I touched it with my finger, and it gently vibrated under my touch. At that moment, I only have one thought on my mind: home.